Sure. Add to stream. There we go. Okay. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken podcast. And I am Amora Bonet, the host of the podcast and the voice for the Voice of Oneness team. And usually we broadcast from WLTK radio, but last on Friday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time. But last night there were some technical difficulties, so the show didn't happen. And I I could have let it go until next week and just pick up and do the show next week, but we already have a show scheduled for next week. So I decided to step out on my own and broadcast this as best I can, and I'm sure it's not going to be it's not going to be perfect. That I know because I haven't a clue of what I'm doing. I just went on to this broadcasting software and kind of set it up and will let it be what it is. Because it doesn't really matter to me whether or not it's perfect or how it looks. And what matters to me most is that I'm I'm doing the service. I'm teaching. I am bringing the voice of oneness to the listeners who are guided to this podcast. And when you're tuning into the podcast, this one or any other, it's because you're drawn there magnetically. We're magnetic beings. So we're drawn to the information. We may not know why, or we may have an inclination of why, but when we're drawn, we want to meet life right where we are, right where we're experiencing, and simply say to ourselves, I'm open. I'm open to receive what is here for me because it's in my sight, it's in my world, I'm experiencing it, means it's for me. On whatever the experience is to be, it's for me. I'm at the right place at the right time doing the right thing. So if you're tuning in here with me tonight, thank you. You're at the right place at the right time doing the right thing. Now, some of you tuning in, or some of you that follow me or know me, whether it's from, you know, being in my audience at when I had a spiritual center in California, or if it's, having readings with me here in Sedona, or wherever you've come in contact with me and we've sat together, uh, you have an understanding of what I'm about or what I teach, or you're coming to me for the first time and this may be new to you. So it matters not because what's going to be said is directly from the heart of spirit, from the voice of oneness, the stream of consciousness which flows to and through me. That's been what I've been doing since 2007. And what I know that I know is I know that this consciousness flows to the heart of the individuals. Right where you are, it meets you and it opens your own heart. So you will experience what it is that's for you. You will hear what you're meant to hear. And many times people will repeat something and say, oh, well, remember when you said this? And they'll say what they thought I said, and it's not what I said, not what I remember saying. And I go, oh, that's interesting. I don't remember saying that. And most of everything that I do, I'm lucky I have a recording of. So I go back and I listen to the recording. I go, did I really say it that way? And I listen to the recording and it's not the way, it was what I thought and not what the person had heard. But I understand that they heard what they needed to hear to move them into the action that's required for them in the moment. So I accept that. I accept that as being part of the natural flow. I don't question it, I accept it. So here, wanting to be part of the natural flow is broadcasting myself, trying to figure out how to do this live. I'm hoping I'm actually broadcasting. I don't even know for sure. There's a picture on my screen, but I'll see when I'm done if it actually went through. And if it's not, I'll just do it over again. Because the topic that the why I broadcast is from my heart. And the reason that I got up each morning that I have a beautiful family, and it's not just for my family or my grandkids or for my friends. It's I get up to be of service. And I've always been that way. Because the most important thing for me is to reach out to someone else to help them feel good about who they are. That's the most important thing. When somebody asks me, why do you do what you do? It's not where someone will say, well, I want to rise up in my vibrations and I want to go to the fifth dimension or beyond, or I want to, yeah, those are byproducts. But you can't get anywhere until you feel good about you. You can't get anywhere until you understand that which you are. And as you come into deeper understanding of that which you truly are, and I'm speaking of that which is the true nature of our being, not that which we believe ourselves to be, not the living of the story of who we are and the roles that we play in life, but really understanding that which we are. And that's the purpose of this broadcast each week, coming with different themes that we talk about, teaching different principles of oneness, teaching about the nature of our being. It's for that deepening of understanding of that which we are, so that we can experience truly the fullness, the richness, the power of that which we are a part of, so that we can live fully and that we can join together and unify in a field of love when we come to an understanding of that which we are. So when I'm choosing a topic, I look at two things, kind of. One is my own personal life experiences based on what I'm going through as I'm having this human experience. And I also look at and listen closely to those that I'm working with, that I be doing a reading for, or maybe counseling. And I look at what's going on, and I look at also at my experience in life, having been a school teacher in the classroom for 11 years, educated in the field of education, deep into psychology, human psychology. And I look at the patterns and I look at things that are going on. And the thing that came up for me this past week was sabotaging beliefs. And we have beliefs that are formed in our life based on experiences that we've had. And they begin very much when we are in the world in human form, once we're birthed. And from birth to age 7, it's a patterning experience that takes place. We're kind of imprinted with the experience that we have to help us formulate the world, what is the world around us, and how we operate within that world safely. We're all innately programmed for survival. And we have on board with us in our human experience that which we can call mind, our own small mind, not the larger mind, the God mind that you've heard me speak about, but our own mind and our what we can call our ego. And the ego, from the perspective of which I teach, I don't teach it to be this bad thing that we've got to kill off. I know a lot of spiritual teachers do hold that perspective, but it's not one in which I share. My understanding and the teachings of and how we present it is the ego is the great protector. It protects us. It keeps us from being on the side of a mountain and going to the edge and just continuing to walk off and fall to our death. It says, wait a minute, stop, whoa, whoa, whoa. You don't want to go there. That's dangerous, danger, danger. We get a feeling in our physical body. We start to get nervous. We look down. Ooh, that's way down there. I don't want to go there. And we stop. That's when it's functioning as it should. But because we are not in alignment with the true nature of our being, The ego has taken over the control, and the role of which we believe we are based on our memories and based on the experiences we've had in life. That's what the ego knows. It knows what has been. It lives in the world of memory. It does not go beyond what has been. When we start to look towards a future, the ego will throw up the flag, go, no, you don't want to go there. I can't keep you safe there because I don't know what's there. So I have to keep you small. I have to keep you here. I have to keep you safe, so to speak. Then that's aligned with the sabotaging beliefs. That's the inner saboteur. The one that the voice that speaks within us, within our minds, or we feel it in our body, that, oh, I'm anxious, per, perhaps, or we think of doing something, or somebody suggests something. Well, why don't you try this? And then we come up with all the reasons why we can't. I don't have enough money. I don't have the time. I work too hard. I'm too old. I have the family, too many responsibilities. We, we all have a litany of excuses that keep us away from doing something different, from making a change. Many times throughout the years, especially I'd say within the last 5 years or so, a common theme for people that have come to me is that they want to leave their jobs. They've got this calling inside of them. They feel that they're meant for more. That I'm meant for more. I'm not reaching my purpose. What is my purpose? Help me with my purpose. I don't want to be in this corporate environment. I don't want to be in this 9 to 5 job. I want to go out and I want to be of service. I want to be of service. People will say service. And that's what they're feeling that they want to experience. And they want to know how to do it. And then when we start to explore that more deeply, then the saboteur comes up and says, oh, you can't do that. You can't possibly leave your job and go do something else. How are you going to pay your bills? What if they're leaving this safe job and you go into this new job and it doesn't work out? Where will you be? Or you can't possibly go for what makes your heart sing because you have a family. I see this from many, many men and women. I have a family. I got married. I got a house. I signed my name on that dotted line for that 30-year mortgage. And we're only 5 years in. I can't possibly make a change now. I have to stay the course. I have to do what I believe is safe. And that's the saboteur. That's our belief, believing that this action keeps us safe. When it's not actually what's true, but it's what we've learned in life that have brought about the formation of beliefs in that I have to stay in that which feels safe. I can't go into something totally new because that's a change, and that change is very upsetting and it's scary. And I don't know what's on the other side of that. So if I go there, my belief is telling me then I'm irresponsible because I'm looking to have something that makes me happy at possibly the cost of not being able to make my mortgage payment, per se. And those are the things that are thrown up. One example of things that are thrown up from the saboteur, the inner saboteur, from our beliefs. I can't possibly change my career this late in the game because I'm over that 50-year mark. And who's going to want to hire me? I've heard this so many times, and it's not true. I can't possibly shift gears now because I'm too old to start over. And then we say, well, there's some examples of people out in this world right now who are 50 and beyond and are starting over, and they're just rocking it. They're doing so well. They're the happiest they've ever been. So they're showing you it can be done. So what makes it different for them? Why can they do it and others of us are having trouble doing it? And we say, okay, it has to do with our patterns of belief, that which we believe. I myself am a master at change. I change all the time. I change areas of which I live. I change careers. I change lots of things. I'm a teacher who, for most in the field of education, when they begin teaching, the most important thing is to get tenure. I got tenure. And then I gave up that tenure to go for another position in the same school district. So I gave up my tenure to become untenured, to get tenure again in that field. And then I did it again. So 3 times I was tenured. And then I walked away. I got a calling to go more in the direction of opening a spiritual center. And that's what set me on fire. I love children. I love teaching. I love education. But I knew that I can be of greater service stepping out into this new experience that I had a vision of. And it made absolutely no sense to those around me. It made no sense to someone whose belief is you stay with what's safe and what's secure. You worked so hard. You've got debt from your education. I went to school, got my master's degree. It cost me a lot of money, which I'm still paying back. But I didn't let that debt stop me from moving forward. I didn't let that inner saboteur stop me. I said, no, let me see, let me push the limits, let me see what can be achieved. Has it been an easy road? No, because life kicked in with many other things that were going on. But have I allowed myself to be stopped? No. Not even where technical issues on a broadcast stopped me from speaking. And I said, am I going to allow that? Or am I going to take myself and move forward and enter into the unknown? I don't know how to do this broadcasting. I don't know anything about lives on Facebook, but I'm going to experience it and I'm going to have a good time doing it because I'm here for the listener. I'm here to be of service, to allow this information to flow. So the sabotaging patterns, what did happen to me? And I'm going to share my own personal experience here, moving away from those of which are others that come to see me. Very much wanting to get my own home again. I've gone through a series of changes in my life. As I said, I left my career, started a spiritual center, then eventually lost that center because my husband had become very ill, and I spent 2.5 years by his side through his care before he made his transition from this life. And in the process of that, we lost our home as well. So I was able to keep going and get apartments and rent homes, but on my own, I haven't been able to purchase a home. So we look at limiting beliefs, and I believe that we can all do what it is we set our mind to. I know that when the human mind decides, makes a firm decision, that's it. It's happening. When we're kind of going back and forth in indecisiveness, or we're letting the mind, the sabotaging patterns dictate our course, we haven't firmly taken control within our mind and made a decision. When we make the decision, we go. So I started to say to myself, let's begin to look at houses. Let's go to open houses. And I went with a friend, and we went into an area of which I love in Sedona, and we're going to open houses. And we start off, we're at one tier price-wise that I was comfortable with. And then my friend drives to a house that was over $1 million, and it was an open house. And she goes to get out of the car, and she's like, oh, this is going to be fun. I go to put my hand on the door handle to open the door, and I have a panic attack. And she's, what's going on? I said, I can't do it. I can't go in that house. I can't look at that. And she's like, why not? And I said, because I can't afford that. I cannot qualify for a $1 million mortgage. Come on now. And she goes, well, you don't know what you can achieve yet, So she's trying to give me all this positive motivational speak to get me to go inside that house. But the truth of the matter is, my belief planted me firmly in the seat and said, oh no, you're not getting out of the car. Because I felt that if I went in that house, first of all, I've got to meet the realtor who's inside showing the house, and I'm wasting their time because I can't buy that house. My friend's like, well, what? They don't care. I'm going, but I do, because I have a standard of which I live by. I'm a truth teller. So I'm going in there and pretending to be something I'm not, that I can afford this house. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. My friend finally talked me in. We went into the house, but I couldn't get out fast enough. And then I said, I'm not doing that again, because I feel so uncomfortable in my body, because I knew that belief was so strong in me, that me of myself, I can't do that. So I said, okay, now I understand. Once we recognize a belief, once we recognize that it's there, because I didn't know it was there until we pulled up to that house. And then it became very aware of it. So I said, okay, it's a money thing. Okay, so I'll stick to what I feel I can do, and I'll start there. And then I was in a meditation with a visioning exercise. And I was actually, and I'm very visual, and I was actually at a door of a home. I put the key in the door. It was my home. And I went to walk inside. And I walked inside and I stopped. And I heard myself say in my own mind, there's nobody here. And then I stopped right there. I didn't go any further. I was in the foyer and I didn't go any further. And then I became aware immediately. I was so shocked. I came right out of the meditation. I went, whoa, I've got another belief here that's limiting me. Here's the saboteur again. I'm thinking it's a money thing. It's about family. It's about what I believe a home is. I was raised in a home with a family. I left that home to begin a life with my partner, and then we had a lovely apartment until we wanted a home because we wanted to start a family, and we bought a home. So from home with my parents to home with my partner, raised our family, always had a home. Released my partner, let him go. He makes his transition, no more family home. So the experiences that I didn't even realize were imprinting upon me within my thoughts to form a belief that I was not even aware of. Now I'm a teacher of spiritual principles. I know the laws, but I still get caught that I've got to go back and say, okay, I've identified this. Now let me take the steps to release this and go in the direction of. And I start with, oh, God, thank you for showing me that I've got this block. Because once I become aware, now I'm in the process of healing that, of releasing that, of letting that go. So this works for all of us. We're not necessarily aware of what our sabotaging beliefs are. It requires our attention. It requires us to take notice, to be willing and available to ourselves. When we want to be available to someone else, we can say, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to focus on them and I'm going to listen to exactly what they're saying. And it's going to be all about them. But we don't always do that for ourselves. We don't say, let me sit down and make this all about me. And let me be introspective. Instead of looking at the world out here and how I appear in this world and what's going on in this world, let me go within and see what's going on. What are my beliefs? What are my patterns? What's happening? If we're wanting something in our life and it's not coming about, and we are taking action. Not that we're just sitting back and looking to visualize, and I'm visualizing this brand new car and I'm experiencing, like in the movie The Secret, if you've seen the movie, most of us have, that you're feeling what it feels like to be in the car. You've got to take action steps with the visualization. You just can't visualize. You have to take the action steps. You have to commit to yourself that this is what I want. This is what I'm going to bring about and manifest in my life, because I am deserving of it. I'm going to check in first to see how I feel. And the first thing that I advise is doing like what I did with the visualization meditation, where you do put yourself in that car and you feel what it feels like, and you feel in your body, are you comfortable driving that car? Do you believe that this brand new Tesla, let's say, for example, is a match to you where you are in your life right now? That's the indicator that says whether or not you're coming into alignment with it. Because if you find yourself like I did, sitting outside that over $1 million home, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this? Then we got some work to do. Doesn't mean we can never have it, we can never get it, we can never manifest. We can have anything, be anything, do anything we want, as long as we are a match to it vibrationally. We cannot be a match vibrationally to something if we're chained by our limited beliefs and we're held in a lower frequency. We've got to get real, be honest. Where am I in my emotional state right here, right now? Am I really, truly feeling that this is it for me? And if it's not, then I've got to do the work to get myself there. We can want to become a Major League Baseball player, say for a young male or female that's growing up, whatever. And you really want it, and you could see it, you could feel it, and you want it really, really, really bad. You know that you're never going to get it unless you continually practice, unless you create the routine and make sure you stay with it and you're working it, you're working it, you're working it, you're working it, until you've built up so much momentum in that direction that you bring it into your reality. So our sabotaging patterns are there. They're the gifts. They're the gifts that we receive that let us know that this is here. And in order to get where you want to go, you've got to allow yourself to recognize it and then take the steps to change it. So the steps to change it is recognizing the belief, number one, and then it requires self-awareness. As I became, and I did my example, a lengthy example of my experiences, how I became aware that I had those beliefs. We got the introspective look, and we commit to our personal growth, our personal development. We commit to spiritual practice. We commit to ourselves to take our attention, our precious energy, our attention, and focus it in the direction that we want to go. Not where we see ourselves in the moment, but the direction of where we want to go. Because we know that what we focus on, we bring about. So if we're focusing on what we're believing about ourselves in the moment, that's where all our energy is taken up. And we don't have the energy to make the shift. We're going to allow these sabotaging beliefs to continue to play like a broken record. I just can't do it because. And as we start to move in the direction of that which we are choosing, these sabotaging patterns, because it's not just one belief, they'll start to bubble up, like, and I call them popping like popcorn. And for many people on the planet right now, that's what's going on in our lives. It's popping like popcorn. That which we've been holding, which is not in alignment with the truth of our being, is coming up to be healed so that we can heal from the inside, so that we become that which we need to be to usher in this great awakening, to usher in that which we are choosing to experience on the planet. It's not going to come about from anywhere outside in the world. That change is not going to come about by going and protesting against something. Because when we protest against something, our focus is on what we're protesting against. It's on the lack of something. It's not taking our precious attention, that which we've got, and focusing on, okay, what do I need to be so that I give that off into the field? And the more of us that do that, it becomes then manifest in the field. Walls start coming down. Things start happening in the direction of that which we're choosing to experience, not that which we believe that we're victim of. If we're holding any energy that we are being held down, we're a victim of, then we're going to stay held down. We're not going to be able to rise up. We're going to we'll get up a little bit and be pushed down again because we're not believing in our own power. We haven't taken back our minds. We haven't taken back our power. Each of us needs to do that. An example that comes to my mind, I'm being shown, there's a water basin and there's some corks and they're floating on top of the water. The cork, by its nature, floats. It doesn't need to learn how to float. Somebody doesn't need to make it float. It floats. Now, against its nature is sinking. We can exert a force on the cork and hold it underwater. And it will stay underwater as long as it's under our force. If we release our force, it goes right back up to the top because its innate nature is to float. Our innate nature is love. We have forces that are exerted on us in our environment as we're learning and growing and expanding our consciousness. The forces begin to lessen, so they no longer have the power to hold us down like they did before. And eventually, their power will be fully overcome by our growth, so we no longer are affected by it and no longer held down. I hope that makes sense. So think of a cork held down because there's a force that can exert it to hold it down, but it's nature. Once we remove that, it will rise up. It's a floater. We're like the cork. We float. We float in the field of love. We are love. We are free, and we will always, always, always move in the direction of freedom. Always. Eventually. We are here to set ourselves free. We set ourselves free by coming to the understanding of that which we are and recognizing the patterns that we're holding in the beliefs about ourselves is part of that unfoldment. There's many different aspects to this. We're here to master our emotions in our physical world, in our physical bodies, so that we can step into balance and experience life from a much different perspective than we're doing right now. And that's where we're headed. It's already in existence. It's already there. We just haven't become the match for it yet. But we're drawing it closer and closer and closer with every breath that we take. So that which is going on in our world and the craziness and the chaos, That's that force losing its exertion over us. It's holding us down, some of us down, most of us down to some degree, but it's losing its force. So eventually it's non existent. And we all are now floating. And we all are experiencing the true nature of our being. That's the direction we're headed. That's life. Life is always in a forward motion. Always life affirming forward motion. Ever expanded consciousness is that which we are in a sea of consciousness. We are having a blip right here. We're calling this a human life based on the story of who we think we are. And this is a blip, or we can say a blink of an eye. And this is nothing to the totality of that which we are. This is nothing. This is an experience. We're experiencing in a human form so that we can choose that which we want our life to be like, so that we can come to the awareness that we are not held back by anyone or anything unless we allow it, unless it's through our own hand. So now we're looking at these limited beliefs. How can we overcome them? What do we do to work with them? And I'm going to give a number of different things that we can do. Step by step to help us in the process of overcoming the beliefs. Self-reflection and awareness. Spend time alone, without your phone, without anyone or anything. Be not afraid to be by yourself. Because in actuality, we're never alone. Spirit is always with us. The presence that created us, God, that which created us, is always within us, always around us. Everything is alive with the presence. We may not be yet at that level of awareness to recognize that, but that does not discount it. That does not change the fact that it is. A young child who hasn't gone to school, who hasn't studied that there's a law called the law of gravity, doesn't realize that there's a name for it, but if they throw a ball up in the air, it's going to come down. And when they repeat it, they throw it up again, they realize, oh, if I throw it up, it comes down. They don't realize what's going on, the whys behind it. They just realize the result. I throw it up, it comes down. So we don't necessarily realize that the presence is within us and all around us until we start reaching those levels of awareness. And once we reach the level of awareness, that it goes deeper and deeper, and it's ever deepening, always changing. That's the excitement of life, is there's no end. We never reach a finish line. And as many wonderful experiences as we have, there's always another one around the bend, because it's a continual flow, a stream of consciousness. We're here to return to the point of oneness, and then it's beyond. And we can't even begin to look in that direction, because we're nowhere near the oneness point yet, because we believe that we're not. We believe that we are separate. That's a great limiting belief. But now when we're in this human body, in this life, this plays out in so many different ways. So we want to spend time reflecting on our thoughts, our actions, and patterns of behavior. Pay attention to reoccurring negative self-thought. I always teach that the answer to everything is within us. It's inside of us. And that's just not flowery words. It will bubble out of your mouth sooner or later what you're holding inside. If you're putting your attention on it and you truly want to know, it will pop out. I remember doing a healing session with somebody, and it was going on hours. And where I'm working with them and I'm working with them. And I finally asked them one question. I asked them, do you want to heal? In that moment, very heightened energy. Do you want to heal? And they went, no. And all of a sudden they froze right where they were. Like, oh my God, did that just come out of me? That I got a belief inside me that I don't want to heal? And here I am paying a healer, and I've been with her for 3 hours trying to work through this. And I've got this inside of me that I don't want to heal. So now we know where to begin. We need to begin with this belief, and we need to unravel it. So there's where the work begins. But until we got to that point, we're trying all these other different things, and it's not holding, it's not sticking. Couldn't possibly stick because the belief was strong that the person didn't want to heal. They just didn't realize it. So when we pay attention and we listen to what's coming out of our mouth, we listen to the conversation we have with friends, family, coworkers, significant others, strangers, whatever it may be, it will come out. We'll be triggered in the direction of that which we're holding on to so that we can become aware and decide whether we want to keep it or whether we want to let it go. So we identify situations where we feel stuck, anxious, unable to progress. These can be indicators of underlying beliefs where we feel stuck. Well, what's causing me to feel stuck? Many times people will project it onto other people. They're the reason I feel stuck. It's because I'm always around so-and-so, and they got that negative energy going on. They're so negative. I can't possibly rise up because they're so negative. Really? That's for another show, because I could go off on a tangent on that. But we're projecting our energy. The work that needs to be done is inside of us, but we're not seeing that or feeling that. We're projecting it onto someone else. It's my job. My job is so bad. The people where I work are so bad. They have no patience. They're very bad. They're that negative energy again. How do I rise up around this energy? And you got to say, okay, well, let's begin to look at your energy. Let's begin to look at the beliefs that you're holding. And let's see where the patterns lie. And we do a little investigative work. We'll find it. And then we can begin to heal. We can make decisions about what's the right direction to move forward. Do you need to find another place of employment? Or do you just need to change the lens of which you're looking through in your current situation? Are you allowing yourself to be sabotaged in your career where you are because you're afraid of success? Maybe you're playing small and not full out, but you're blaming it on the company. And it's not the company at all. The potential's there for your growth. You're watching other people grow. And you're saying, well, they're just not paying attention to me. Well, why aren't they paying attention to you? What's the energy of which you're giving off? So we really have to take time to reflect. And if we have trouble doing that alone, then there's many of us out there. We're healers, readers. Reach out to the community that's around you just by simply placing the thought, God, help me to come before the right individual to assist me in moving beyond this obstacle, to help me to see myself clearly. And it'll come about. It always does. We're magnetic beings. As we ask, we receive. Know that. We are never stuck. Never, ever, ever stuck. There's always an option. Always. Always, always, always an option. Know that. We may believe we're stuck. And I was talking to someone, and that different things come about in their lives, different circumstances, experience. And then they finally, say, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I just want someone to help me. I'm so tired of having to do everything myself. There's never been anybody there for me. I've always had to do everything in life myself. That's a very powerful belief. We subscribe to that somewhere along the line. when someone let us down, and then we believe that there's no one there for us. And then we kept holding on to that, and that grew. And then because that's what we're believing, and the ego does not want us to become a liar, we experience in direct proportion to the belief. So it keeps being validated over and over again. So then we're so physically tired and emotionally drained, we really want help. And the truth of the matter is, it's not that there's no one to help us. The truth of the matter is, we never learned how to ask. We never allowed ourselves to ask. We never realized that asking takes permission. We must get to the point where we give ourselves permission to ask. We've got to ask, can you help me? And for some of us, that's huge. That's like moving a mountain, because we've believed so long that there's no one there, and we've always got to do it ourselves, and life is a struggle. So it's become such a strong belief, and it's got us chained so tightly. And on the other side of that is asking for help. Oh, how do I get from where I am to asking for help? I've got to start in little ways. And even if that little way is I start in my mind, and I just picture it in my mind that I'm asking someone for help. I see myself phoning someone, and I'm talking to them, and I can hear the words coming out of my mouth, can you help me? And then I hear the words from them coming back to me, absolutely, absolutely, let's do this, let's work this out. And I play it first in my mind until I become comfortable in my body, and then I actually step into the action of doing it, believing that because I'm asking, that I'm going to be received, and I'm going to get the help I need. I hope that makes sense. And I hope today someone listening to this decides that they're going to stand up for themselves in their own corner, and they're going to take the action of which is required of them to receive what it is they want, that which they're desiring, to experience the expansion of your consciousness, the opening of your heart, and the formation of a new beginning. The beginning that goes in the direction of I can, I am, it is, and begin living a new life. That is available to each and every one of us. We must question our beliefs, challenge the validity of your belief. My belief about the home having to be for family, it's my belief. It's valid. It's what I believe. Is it true? Absolutely not. I have no problem being alone. I'm so much in my head, and I've always lived my whole life with spirit with me, so I know that I'm truly not alone. So it's not a problem for me to be alone, but it's the belief of thinking, oh, you have to hear the voices of others. There has to be other people in the home. No, there doesn't. So I take that and I work with that. I say, okay, I've got this going on. Now I'm in this home. Let me move into the kitchen. Let me turn the light on. Let me begin to prepare a dinner for the people who I've invited to come and have dinner with me and fill my home with laughter and engaging conversation. There I go. I've got people in my home. I've got exactly what I want to experience energetically. And I made it happen by not allowing myself to stay with a limiting belief once I recognized it. That's my example. What's yours? What's your limited belief? What's holding you back from experiencing that which you want in your life? If you've got, I call it a prompting, if you've got a feeling inside of you that you're meant for more, you've got a feeling inside of you that you're not playing full out, you've got a feeling inside of you that you want to experience something different in life, and you're not stepping into action, ask yourself why. What am I holding that's got me tethered. And what do I need to do to cut the cord and set myself free? I need to start examining my beliefs. I question them. I self-reflect. And people will say, well, I can't meditate. I can't take time for myself because when I sit down, my mind just goes all over the place. Yeah, it does, and it will. And that's okay. We're not trying to silence the mind. We're trying to just sit and be present with yourself. Just allow yourself time to sit away from everything else. Close your eyes. Tune out the outside world and just breathe. And then let your mind go wherever it needs to go. And then ask yourself after a few minutes of sitting calmly and say, okay, what is between where I want to go and where I am? And just ask the question and just let it be. It will come up for you, either in that moment, that night in a dream. You'll overhear it in somebody's conversation that will set off a trigger within you, and you'll come to an aha moment. But because you asked and you placed your attention on finding the solution, you're going to get the solution. No two ways about it. You're going to get the solution. Reframe and replace. Once you've identified a limiting belief, consciously reframe it into a more empowering and realistic statement. For example, I can't do it. You reframe that into I can learn and improve. I can make the effort. And how I've been taught to look at things and say, okay, I want something. I want a house of my own. What do I need to do, be, or become to bring that reality into my present field that I'm experiencing right here, right now? What do I need to do? What action steps do I need to take? And then I begin going about that. Is there a skill set I need? Do I need to work with someone to help me with my finances so I can qualify for the mortgage? What is it I need? And I begin to examine that. And I begin to create the plan. And I begin to write it down. Now I'm taking action. This is energy and motion here. I'm taking action. My attention is on the creation of. It's no longer over here in I can't. I don't have enough money. Oh, I'll never get there. Oh, that's for other people. That's the line that tethers you right where you are. You've got to cut that by moving over here and stepping into the unfoldment of it. So that's reframing. Challenge your negative thoughts. When they come up, something says, you're not good enough. Say, yes, I am. I am good enough. And then begin to go back in your own memory and relive successes you've had in your life, happy times you've had in your life, a memory of where you really laughed so hard from the belly. Not a ha ha ha, but a really deep roaring laugh. We've all had them. Go back to that and feel what that feels like. And say, that's a success. Begin a practice. One thing that you can begin to practice is, and we all know about gratitude journals and gratitude. Gratitude is the currency. Gratitude, to be in gratitude for. You're aligning with that which created you. You're opening up to the goodness that's here for you. You're in gratitude to it, saying, I am in line with spirit. I am here. I'm allowing myself, I'm opening up to receive. Each day before you close your eyes, write down on a piece of paper 5 things from that day that you did that you consider to be accomplishments. 5 things that you can say, oh, that was a win. Oh, that was really great. I did that really great. Even if it's holding the door open for somebody as they walk through. smiling at somebody as they walk past. You just opened up for somebody their own heart. They saw your smile. They received the gift from you so that they could recognize their own smile within themselves. Record this 5 a day before you close your eyes. And in the morning when you wake up, read those 5. Those 5 accomplishments from the day before, the 5 things that you did right, so that you set yourself in the position of experiencing that which is uplifting. Not stepping into your day saying, okay, where can I mess up? But no, look at how I am on target. I am right where I need to be. All is good. That's another tip. We want to visualize success. We want to use our own power of our imagination, God-given gift, the power to create. We imagine, we visualize, we hold it, and as we're holding it and building it in our mind, we're naturally going to have an experience with our emotion. Thought flows to the emotion, and then we start to feel it in our body. We start to have an emotional reaction. Once it hits the emotion state here, now it's imprinting. It's imprinting onto the field. Now it's in the hands of the presence. And the presence always gives that which we ask for. So, visualized it, felt it, imprinted, it's created. Now, the next step is to see that we stay in vibration to it so that we can experience. It's created, it's there. My friend, when I was with her going to look at that over $1 million home, and every time I think about it, I just laugh because to me it's so funny. But does that mean I could never have a home like that? No. If I hold it as a vision, and if I ask, what do I need to take myself there? What steps do I need to take? And then I hold that, and it feels right, and I bring myself into alignment with it, and I create the me I need to be to sustain it. Guess what? I'm living it. But it takes the doing. It takes the doing. We can't play small. We have to play full out. We're here to play full out. We're here in life to have a human experience, not a small one, not a miserly one, not one here you get the you get the crumbs from others. No, it's here to be your best version of you in each and every moment of your experience. And we'll have things that will happen and we'll go, you know what, if I have something, if I've had a misstep and I have them, I'll go, oh, that wasn't the very best version of me. I need to get to work right now. I need to close my eyes and I need to visualize that as my best version. So I'm setting that up in my consciousness. I'm not allowing it to become lodged within me as anything that will become a detractor. I want everything to be an enhancer. So I take that moment, awareness consciously, and I shift it and I play the scene out like I want it to happen. And then I say, and now this is it. And I release that into the field. You do that and then watch your life transform. We are here to be active players. We're here to experience ourselves as love. Not search out for someone to love us what we believe correctly. No one can love us correctly if we're not loving ourselves. Get that for sure. No one can give you that which you haven't given to yourself. No one's going to come and save us. We were created full, whole, complete. We took on and subscribed to the beliefs that were not. We did it. We must undo what we have done. It's ours to do. It's our job. That's what we are to do. It's ours to do, no one else's. Realize that. Remind yourself of that. All day, every day. It begins when somebody comes to me for spiritual coaching. The first lesson I teach is everything begins and ends with you. Begins and ends with you. Now, your understanding of these words, when you hear them right here, right now, holds one meaning. Know that that meaning is ever evolving. It'll change. And be willing to allow it to change, to expand. But right now, I need you to take responsibility. I need you to take responsibility to know that everything begins and ends with you. Right here, right now, everything in your life that you're experiencing, it's been called into your life through your invitation. And as you grow and learn more about that which you are, more about the power of which you are wielding, you learn, oh my gosh, I'm always creating so powerfully. I'm a powerful creator being, but I'm creating when I'm not knowing what I'm doing. I'm creating missteps, miscreations. And because I've created these miscreations, I've got to come back and make amends with that. I've got to recreate that and bring it into the field of love. I've got to step into forgiveness. And that's another show. But everything begins with us and ends with us. So if we take that beginning step and go, okay, today, just today, I'll take responsibility 100% for me, for my life. And I begin to approach everything that I experience in life from that point of 100% responsibility. And the reason why I myself, I thought for years and years and years, I thought the reason I do this is because I was asked by Spirit to do it. I was asked by the team that I call the Voice of Oneness to step out into the world as the teacher of divine oneness. Will you do this? Yes, I will. Are you making a commitment to this? Yes. Do you realize what this entails? And then they taught me about that, and I'm still learning. And I thought, the reason I'm doing this is because I was asked, because I'm the type of person, you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. You want something? I'm going to give it to you. This is the way I am. It's in my nature. And then most recently, I've been asked, why do you do what you do? And I said, because I was asked. And then, now let's go a little deeper. Why? Until I got to the point and I figured out why I do what I do, because it means the most to me. Because we're emotional beings, when you hit the target, you have an emotional response. I hit the target here. It means the most to me that when I am speaking to you, or I'm having a conversation, I'm working with someone, my whole heart is in it to help whoever I'm interrelating with to experience the beauty of that which they are. Whether it's through laughing together, or whether it's through spiritual knowledge, expansion of consciousness, just knowing and understanding that you're a beautiful being, that your presence is so required here and now, so honored, that we're each pieces of the puzzle. And the picture of the puzzle can't be complete without each and every one of us returning to the puzzle and snapping in together in a unified field. So what brings me to do what I do is from the depth of my being to help others to experience the fullness of that which they are, the true nature, the truth of what we are. And I believe that's why the team of oneness came to me. I didn't go searching for them. I didn't ask to be a channel. I didn't do any of that stuff. It came to me. I just accepted what was offered. And now, as I look at it, it was offered because it's in alignment with the core of my being. because that's where we each are in the core of our being. That's why we're coming up with, I want to be of service. I don't want to work in this job anymore. People are saying, I want to serve. I want to know my purpose. Well, what if that purpose was simply to love? To love, beginning with the self, love the self. And not in a narcissistic way, not in a selfish way, but in a selfless way. Knowing that as I grow in self-love, there's that much more of my heart available to all that I am around. So that when others are around me, they feel it. The only way they can feel it is if it touches them in their heart. It's a ping, bing, bing, lights up. It ignites the spark. And then we become aware, I want to feel like that. I want to experience life like that. My mom used to say to me, she used to call me pixelated as I was growing up, and I was wondering what, because she always thought of me as a fairy. And I had a lot of experiences with fairies. But she'd say, as I got older, she said, I just wish I could see life like you do. I just wish I could experience life like you do. I said, well, you can. I said, no. That's those are your beliefs. And then as she got older and towards the end of her life, she began to sit with me, with a group of other people who were sitting around receiving teachings from a master. And she began to receive the teachings with us. So that by the time she made her transition, she was experiencing herself through the lens of love. She realized that potential. That's what I hold. And that's what I do. And that's why I'm here. And I hope that through this broadcast, right here, right now, that my words spoken have sparked within you, the listener, love within your own heart. Realizing it begins with you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being available. Thank you for opening up to receive the gift that's been here for you. And may you take it and unwrap it further for you, and then share it with others. Ignite the spark within them. Let's make this happen. Let's bring this about now. We don't have to go and march on a street corner. Let's begin in our homes and let it ripple out. It will. Just let it be so. And if you're struggling, and if you need help, I'm a spiritual counselor. I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm an energy healer. I'm a Reiki master. Contact me. Let's have a conversation. Perhaps I can help you. And if I cannot help you, perhaps I know someone who can. So I invite you to reach out. Reach out to my website, voiceofoneness.com. There's a contact page on there. Fill out the information, send it to me, I'll receive it. Or email me at Amora, AUMARA, at ask, ASK, Amora, AUMARA.com. And I'll respond. I'm busy. It may not be right away. You may not get an immediate response, but within 24 to 48 hours, I will respond to you. I thank you for joining me. If this has touched you in any way, how about sharing it and allowing it to touch another? Thank you. Hope you tune in next week. I will be back on WLTK Talk Radio at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube and on the station's website and many other places. Thank you. Good night.